Hi, and thanks everybody for joining this Tech Talk session. We're going to be discussing AngularJS to Angular migrations to modern framework architecture. I am Joe Rafanelli at Macro. I'm a director of technical solutions here at Microsoft. At Microsoft, we are a customized software development company that specializes in migrating old technology to new platforms. We are a leading provider of professional services when it comes to Visual Fox Pro, VB6, and ASP legacy migrations. Super excited to introduce Azeem. He's a senior developer here at Microsoft. He has done significant work in this space for many, many clients, particular, these AngularJS migrations. I want to welcome Azeem and I want to thank him for joining this session.
Thanks for having me. Hello, everyone. My name is Saleem. I have been with Microsoft over 7 years, actively participating in migration projects. Technology evolves rapidly to meet modern end user needs, performance demands, and security standards. While AngularJS is not very old, we migrated 30 years old application to AngularJS for just 6 years ago. We now face the needs to upgrade these applications to the latest Angular version. And I'm going to discuss this technical details in this tech talk.
Fantastic. Thank you for saying that. I just want to remind the audience that I have my questions that I'm going to ask Azeem. He'll go through the answers and we'll be sharing screens. But at the end, please be prepared to send us your questions via chat. We'll read them and get those questions answered as soon as possible, during the meeting. Okay. So let's just start off by saying this. I want to start by saying, AngularJS is not, it's not very old. Like the last one we did was in 2018, where we were still using it. So why migrate from AngularJS to Angular now?
AngularJS was a JavaScript-based framework released by Google in October 2010. It became very popular and a lot of application developed by using it. But there was many improvement and loophole required that made Google to make a decision for a major update. So then Angular, which is commonly referred that time as Angular 2, was released in September 2016. And that time AngularJS support was also stopped, and that created a risk to the application developed in AngularJS. So this is one of the primary reason the industry experts actually advise to convert AngularJS application to Angular.
Makes sense. Whenever you introduce risk to anything when it comes to business, you definitely want to get off the risky applications. Okay, so how different is Angular from AngularJS?
Angular 2 is a completely rewrite and redesign from AngularJS. It's offer modernized and improved framework for building web applications. And, Angular introduced significant changes compared to AngularJS, including new component-based architecture. AngularJS use MVC-based, so they use component-based, and some other advanced features that enhance the user experience and performance for the applications.
Performance is always key. Clients are always looking for that speed of their application. Nobody wants to wait once you click a button. So I totally get that. What improvements do you receive for Angular 2?
Apart from many technical improvement, Angular provide much better performance and enhanced security. So I guess let's see a comparison and discuss each aspect. So basically, these are the comparison slide. So first, the major difference between Angular and AngularJS is the architecture. So as I mentioned earlier, AngularJS has developed in using a MVC architecture, and Angular is a totally rewrite and use a component-based architecture. In architecture, there are many other things like data binding that are also different. Angular supports one-way and two-way optional binding as well to improve performance, whereas AngularJS does not. Then there is a performance thing, the major one that's like change detection management that is actually used to load some components and directives and all the application. So Angular has a faster change detection. Application reduced loads time is very improved and runtime improves. Application load fast as compared to AngularJS. The digest cycle for AngularJS is so that slow down the large application because it slows the complete application. Then there is a mobile support. AngularJS has a very limited or no mobile support, whereas in Angular they provide a mobile support, so you can use your application on your mobile devices. It is compatible to those. Then there is a language and tooling. Uh, AngularJS use JavaScript and also not optimized for mobile performance thing, but for Angular, built-in mobile optimization feels like lady losing feature and other rendering feature give you a great performance in mobile rendering and mobile experience. And then also like using a command line tool to make the uh, development simplify, that provide you built-in tool, command line tool provide you built-in feature like scaffolding in Angular. And also now that manage dependency management to inject some services to use services, that is better and efficient to handle in Angular as compared to AngularJS. And then the major advantage for Angular is a large growing community, and AngularJS is obsolete now, so they don't have a community anymore. So, but still they have a few. But for Angular, the community is growing, and it is very high, and also provide you the major feature is backward compatibility with other version of Angular as well. So these are the major differences.
No, it looks great. I'm glad you put that together. And I know what we're going to do. We'll put these on a white paper if anybody wants to see them and look at them and maybe ask questions. But I like the way you did that side by side so people really know the significance of changing to Angular 2. So I appreciate that. Okay. So we're talking about migration, right? And we're talking about the effort, but is there a significant effort when you're going from JS to Angular 2? Maybe we can go into a little details on that.
Uh, yes, this is their good question, and there is a significant effort required to convert application, and let's see what major effort is required, and we discuss what component can be reused and other things I can explain. So first thing we need to do for changing is actually, so these are actually three parts basically. One is a major part which we have to do to convert applications. So first is the evaluate libraries. We have a third-party libraries we use nowadays in our application that provide development faster, but we need to check in order to convert to application to Angular, JS to Angular, we need to see the third-party libraries we have been using to ensure their capability, and also the services which we have been using, either a third party, they are compatible with the Angular or not. If not, then definitely a lot of effort required for that. Then we need to work on the architecture actually to modify from, and we need that's require a redesigning of architecture, because AngularJS use model view component. This use a component based approach Angular, so we have to redesign the component, refactor different things and different components into Angular component. And Angular use TypeScript, so definitely that gives the advantage for to handling and to use a better Angular practices. And then we have a navigation and routing. AngularJS and Angular have a different routing. AngularJS use a routing services, whereas in Angular they have given you a routing engine, built-in routing engine, so that is better flexible for navigation and have a multiple feature like lazy loading, eager loading, and these kind of things. So which makes this Angular much more robust and easy to handle navigation in our application. Same with the state management. Angular provide a built-in state, so it is easy to handle the state management. In AngularJS, you use a third-party state management tools and services, but Angular has given you the thing you can use a handle state management easily. So you have to do a major effort from conversion to this, and it can be very helpful for that. And other than that, this we have in bindings and templates. So you have to convert your bindings. I mean, AngularJS change mechanism, as I mentioned earlier. There are some directives, built-in directives that are depreciated in AngularJS. They provide the same purpose, but in Angular, you used in different way. So these kind of things we need to take care, and that require a effort. We need to convert from AngularJS to Angular. Next we discuss the. I wanted to discuss the reusable component, which uh, is required for Angular. So it's not like that we have to redefine everything, and there are some components we can use as a reusable code from previous AngularJS application. For example, some basic HTMLs. So there are some HTMLs we can use same as it is, and also the style sheet we can use to redesign the application UI and everything. And then there are data structures, object classes, and other things you can use in Angular, which we have been using, which you are using in AngularJS. So these can be reused. And then there are some things like static assets or images or other things you use for UI. You can be used with little or minor modification in your Angular application. So these are actually the reusable thing we can use when converting application, and this is the effort required for that. The third one is this is one. So this is the major thing actually. That's actually you can say required effort plus have to do a rewrite for that. So one thing is controllers. So as I mentioned, the architecture is completely different in Angular, so you have to change your all controllers in Angular controller component based approach. So you have to change all the controllers which are in not present in Angular. So controllers should be replaced with component and with both logic and views inside that component in architecture. AngularJS, we have a scope. Scope is actually a binding between a controller and template UI, but in Angular it is totally different. It is not available, so you should use a component properties as a data binding for that. Two-way binding, I told you, Angular provide you two-way binding, and AngularJS like have many things which are changed in Angular, like for example watches and other things. So these are a change for you change detection. These are you need to change it for a reactive forms and template driven forms in Angular. And then there are dependency and services. So you have to change your old services to ensure the compatibility as well if you are using third party, but there are some custom services you also define in your application. You need to change all your services in Angular, and to handle these, to inject these dependency services in a dependency, you have to use the Angular has a much better way to inject these things, and this is a completely change technique to use that, and it provides you different scopes, for example. And also there are some other clients or libraries which Angular has used, but these are changed from AngularJS to Angular. For example, HTTP servers used to communicate with HTTP clients. So Angular has a built-in Angular HTTP client module which you can use to communicate with HTTP services. So this is one example. There are a lot of other things you need to change on the services as well, which is depreciated is AngularJS. Then there is Angular directives. Angular directives are totally different from AngularJS to Angular, so you need to convert all your directives. And then we have a filters. You use filters in your application to transform input outputs. That is also a different way to design in Angular, so you have to convert those. And event handling like button clicks and other things, that is also the syntax is totally different, so you need to rewrite code for these things as well in Angular. So these are the must right thing you have to do in order to change the and these are the efforts you require to change the application.
That was very comprehensive, and thank you for that. And like we're saying before, we're going to go ahead and add that to our next white paper so everybody can see that and study it and see if they have any questions. So you answered the question very thoroughly, right? So I can sum it up in one word here, right? Yes, it takes a lot of effort, right, to get through this. So for folks out there, it does take careful planning to do a migration such as this. You got to maintain the functionality, backend compatibility, code migration, and do thorough testing. Um, Macrosoft have done these many, many times, as you can probably imagine. Azeem personally has done these. So we have that experience, and we just ensure the project goes smoothly. Attempting this yourself could be problematic. So if there's interest in making that move, go ahead and give us a call. I am at a point where I'm waiting for questions from the audience. So let's see what we have going here. And okay, I see one here. It says, is the backend code also required to be updated? For example, backend is written in .NET 4.7. Can that backend code still be used in Angular 2?
The short answer is yes, we can use that thing, but if as far as it is actually follow the industry standards and open API standards, and but there are some issues. But it is recommended to use to convert the backend as well, because we may face different issues like security, performance, API capability issue, because Angular it has should be follow the standards that Angular 2 has followed. So I would suggest to change the background. It is better to upgrade the .NET background version as well for longer support as well and security concern.
Okay. Sounds good. Thank you for that. Okay, another question. Is it possible to migrate the module by module and release in production?
This is a very good question, and that is possible in certain ways, yes and no as well, but we have to plan it very carefully in order to do that. So you need to actually have define your strategy. So it's always better to use actually to do some preparation before doing this thing. Ensure that your AngularJS code base is updated with later version to reduce compatibilities issue. Code cleanup is required because you need to follow the best practices. So you have to do or remove some deprecated features and also do some code cleaning. And there are some for smaller application that you need Angular provides sometime module that is Angular upgrade. So try that if that is possible. Otherwise, you have to change that as well, and try to find out the stateless and independent module to convert that, and then you can be able to coexist both and run parallel both application. Otherwise, for larger application, it is not recommended. You have to do something like convert it first, then you go for on a production. But
Yeah,
it
good
is not
answer.
advisable, but it is possible.
Yeah, that's a good way to say it. Okay. All right, let me read the next question. Okay, how much time is required to migrate from AngularJS to Angular 2? You know what? I'm going to take that one. All right. So what I want to say here is it really does depends on the project code. It depends on the screen, controllers, third-party controls, things of that nature. It really requires a proper analysis. However, like I was saying in the beginning, we do a decent amount of these. So the average time frame we've been taking is between 5 and 6 months. It could go less or more depending on, like I was saying before, the complexities of the code and how big it is. So I guess we'll have to leave it there for that answer. Hopefully that's enough for now. Okay. Are there any other questions? Let me see here. All right, we're going to close the session. By the way, those are great questions for everybody. I want to thank Azeem one more time for sharing his knowledge and expertise. We always look for folks like you to come on these sessions and share expertise. So thank you for that. And folks who gave us the chat questions, they were very good questions. I'm glad we were able to dive in to some of the details there. If anything was missed, if you need to give us a call, potentially if you want to do some kind of migration We're here for you guys. Again, we're Macrosoft. You should see my contact information coming up shortly. And then from there, let's see if it comes up. Okay, there you go. There's my contact information. For now, thanks everybody again, and take care and goodbye.